Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Isaac Potter, and welcome to Mark Isaac Potter Presents. Today, we're visiting with Fredric Abramson, who is one of the nicest people I know. I'll tell you, I like his friendship a lot more than I've let on. So, we've talked a few times, and I think we played chess on Venus a couple weeks ago. So, that was fun. A little
Yeah,
hot, but it was fun.
little hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
could have
Can
been
you
worse. It
turn
could have
up,
been.
can
It
you
could
turn
have
up
been.
your volume on your end, do you think, or not?
I have my volume pretty high. Yeah,
All right, already?
yeah.
Okay, I've got mine at 100%. I guess, so you feel like that's the best we can do, probably, or what?
Well, let me just see if I can open up my sound um, settings just to see if
Okay.
there's something else going on.
If you can, otherwise we'll just go with what we have.
Hang on. Let me just see
Yeah,
something.
take your time. I like to have these what I sometimes call impromptu moments in the show rather than
Yeah.
that way people can see what.
Okay.
It's just my own philosophy. It's so people can see what goes on behind the scenes.
Okay.
I'm
According.
hoping to create more and more TV producers, although I know we have a lot of podcasts out there
Okay.
too.
Try this. Is this better?
Very nice. Very, yes.
Okay.
Wow. What did you do?
I went to in Google in Microsoft Windows, I went to the settings and then went to the sound and then went to the output device and it said the output device was set low. So I said, okay, in that
Oh,
case, I'll just turn it up.
wow. Very nice. You're plenty loud now, young man. Oh,
Some people may find that a disadvantage, but that's okay.
being young or what?
Being loud.
Oh, well, yeah, but a lot of people are into being loud these days. So,
Oh,
all
God,
right.
tell me about it. Anyway,
So please tell me a little bit about your business. I know we've talked about it a few times, but frankly, I have forgotten most of it. So, can you start from scratch? Would you mind? Or, oh my goodness, where'd you go? Okay, that's surprising. So, what happened there? Ah, all right. I'm gonna call. There he is. There he is. Okay. Are you okay? There. Let's see what we got. Okay. Somehow it
some
left and
people
came back, huh?
kicked me out and then came back. But
I wonder. That's weird. Okay, I haven't had that happen very often.
well, I'm in Windows 10
Oh,
professional,
I see. Okay. Well,
so
that's life in the big city. It
it
takes
is.
forever to update to 11, by the way. It's just
Well, I
ridiculous.
actually, this system won't update to 11. I'm going to actually have it on my agenda to go out and get a newer laptop with Windows 11.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, so what was your question again? You want to know?
Yeah, just start from the beginning. Maybe tell us even a little bit about yourself as a person. I heard a rumor that you were born at an early age. Is that
Well, I was born at an early age and just before World War II started. So
really? Okay.
in November of 1941, and
Okay.
and I said with some humor, it took the Japanese 28 days to find out I was born. They said, "Okay, now we're going to bomb Pearl Harbor."
Oh, God. Oh, I'm glad history has given us some distance from that event before you made that joke. Otherwise, it would have been too early.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. But
Oh my God.
yeah,
Wow.
trying to maybe work forwards and backwards about me. So maybe what's relevant is so my work today. these days is focused on making genetics useful for everyday life.
Have you got a background as a scientist or?
Yes, I have a PhD in human genetics and population planning
Oh, dear God.
from,
I
from,
had
from a,
no idea. I wouldn't have even allowed you on the show if you weren't, if you didn't have some hillbilly background, if you haven't ever repaired a moonshine still or something. I'm
well,
kidding.
my hillbilly background is I spent 4 years on the faculty of the University of Kentucky Medical School
Okay.
in Lexington.
My dad is from Kentucky.
Uh-huh. And
Seriously.
I did work in Hazard and Harlan.
Okay. Back in on the northeastern side of Kentucky, there are towns like Paintsville, Ashland,
Right.
Louisa. He's from near Louisa. There used to be a village there called Catalpa
I,
about 50, 60 years ago.
I remember the name Catawba. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even on the maps now, but anyway, I don't mean to interrupt your.
No, no, I was in community medicine. And
I'll
so
be darned.
it involved me going out into the field and talking to people in the rural areas and
Yeah.
on how to get them access to reasonable medical care.
Oh,
Because
God bless you. That's I don't know if we have enough of that nowadays because the people who would be doing it are still unspoken, but I hope they're out there.
I
That's
do.
a big heart you have there, young man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, God bless you.
So, but yeah, my PhD is from the University of Michigan, and
Okay.
my work has almost always involved data analytics and using data.
Wow. Okay.
Because one of the things I learned, and it was partly because of the guy who, one of my people on my committee, Dr. James Van Gundy Neal. You have to love a name like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Jim Neal is really the founder of human genetics.
Huh.
He
Wow.
discovered the gene for sickle cell anemia in the late 40s.
Hmm.
And that started genetics on the human genetics on the course of disease and looking at genes for disease.
Right, right. Okay.
And it was a great atmosphere to be in because they were very open to different ideas as a faculty. And so,
Okay. This was in one of the Michigan schools?
University of Michigan,
Okay.
yeah. And this is in the 60s.
Hmm.
And I ended up doing my PhD to calculate the frequency of pregnancy loss in humans
Huh.
because
Okay.
there was a big debate of how often pregnancies don't make it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even now, most women will be told by their OBGYN that it's 25 to 33% of the pregnancies don't make it.
What stage are we talking about? The sperm doesn't ever get in or
Well,
what?
no, after there's fertilization and the pregnancy starts, the OBGYN say it's 25 to 33%. But I had access to data on 360,000 pregnancies, Mark.
Okay.
And the number I came up with from this huge data set is closer to 75% don't make it.
Wow.
Most of which in the first 2 months after the missed menstrual period, when a lot of women would say, I might have been pregnant, but maybe my period was late.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the impact of that, however, is not the number. The number's the number, right?
Yeah.
But over the years, when I've talked to women who lost a pregnancy, and you could, and I've talked to even on Alignable people, women who are dealing with issues around pregnancy or coaching them.
Right, right.
And I say, well, women are usually have guilt about losing a pregnancy,
Okay.
and there's often blame. You must have done something wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But if if a woman, if you ever talk to a woman who's lost a pregnancy and you say, well, there's research showing that 3 out of 4 don't make it, every single one woman will say, you mean it's not my fault?
Oh, that's
And Mark, the reason I emphasize that is
Yeah.
my work and my thinking is to not focus on blame, not
Yes.
focus on guilt, but to empower people to make choices in their life that make sense to them.
Yeah.
That make that reasonable?
Now that's a very quotable. I'm already thinking about trying to figure out a way to make that the tagline for this show, this episode. That's very beautiful, and I wish I could. This alarm for some reason. I guess I'm gonna have to turn this phone off, even though it's got the timer on it. All right. Well, that warms my heart that there is a way, because women in this society, boy, I just can't even start. They go through so much, and they're have to do 10 times the work to get half as far and all the rest of it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things going on. And let me bring you more up to date because you asked the question of what I'm doing now. And
Yeah.
I'm really focused on what I call wellness genetics. And
Okay.
I think it's valuable for the audience to get some sense because it's also about me, right? About
Well,
the journey that got me where I am today.
okay. Okay.
And it really begins in the 90s when I was part of the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's Consumer Weight Loss Coalition.
Okay.
That's because I was chief scientist and general counsel to a weight loss company.
Okay.
But I was also working with collaborating with a guy named Dr. James Duke. And
Huh.
he was the #1 ethnobotanist in the world. And he created a database for the U.S. Department of Agriculture on the chemical constituents of plants and herbs, which you can still look
You're
up now. You can actually look it up on the USDA
you
database.
might be getting over my head here. We're close to that.
Well, no, it's all it says the plants have chemistry, and if you know that what's going on, and it helps. And Jim actually lived 30 miles from me, and he had his property had a thing called the Green Pharmacy with an F because he said
Okay.
plants
Okay.
are
Right.
healers.
So,
So I began focusing on that issue, on the chemistry of what we're putting in our body. And then at the same time, I was teaching at Johns Hopkins University in the master's program in biotechnology. And my students, who are from NIH and all the, this is Washington,
yeah. Yeah.
they said, we
Right.
finished the Human Genome Project.
Well,
I said,
I
I said,
hesitate. Yeah.
I said, it's time to bring genetics out of the darkness of death and dying into everyday.
Now, do genetics, so genetics is a fluid thing throughout our life or not? It's not locked in at birth?
Let me give you a broader way because the answer is yes and no.
Okay.
The genes you're born with, you're going out of the world the way you came in. Okay.
Okay.
So the genes don't change.
Okay.
What changes is how they work and the work they do.
Okay.
And here's my metaphor that helps people. Think of a gene like an automobile engine.
Okay.
When it's off, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
When it's on, it could run at different speeds, and the speed it runs at determines what it does on the road.
Right. 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 Now what affects that activity? Food, chemicals, mood,
Food,
bank
chemicals,
robberies, what affects it?
the total environment.
Everything, huh?
Here's an example. For music, there is a gene variant for having the ability to hear musical notes perfectly. It's called perfect pitch or absolute pitch. And some of
Mm,
your audience has perfect pitch.
okay.
It's relatively rare in the Western population.
Okay.
But here's the thing they found out. If you're born with the gene, but you're not exposed to music in the first 7 years of life, the gene never gets turned on. So
Wow.
music is like the on switch. Boom. Now you
Yeah.
have the ability to hear music perfectly. Another example for people in
Ugh,
the audience, there's a disease called Huntington's disease.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's a neurologic disease and it starts in your late 40s, early 50s. And when it starts, you're going out of the game pretty quickly.
Okay.
Woody Guthrie, the folk singer, had
Right. Okay.
Huntington's. Well, in classic genetics, if you and I were identical twins
Okay.
and I'm diagnosed on Tuesday, you'd be diagnosed on Wednesday because we're identical, right?
Well, I'm taking your word for it.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, but that's the classic way of thinking, right?
Right. Oh, I see. Okay.
But research done among other places at the University of South Carolina by my first wife, Ruth, who's also a geneticist.
Hmm.
She's an expert on Huntington's, and she studied identical twins and
Okay.
discovered the age of onset of the single gene disorder could vary up to 8 years in identical
I'll be
twins.
darned.
Well, Mark, if they're
Didn't get
identical,
switched on the same way or something.
exactly the environment they're living in had an impact on what was going on in their engines.
This is kind of fun because you're making it understandable.
Thank you.
And I like that. I mean, if you taught college and college graduate level, it's a compliment to you that you're able to talk to people like me. So that's nice.
Well, I
No,
appreciate the compliment. To me, science has to be framed in a way that it could be used by you without you becoming a scientist.
okay, okay. Very nice. Now there's and like I say now on almost every show, I've got like 1,000 questions. We could do shows about what one thing I'd like to invite you to do,
Okay.
because we're probably about a little more than halfway through the show. Uh, tell us a little about the current business that you're running. Give us some contact and verbalize some contact information, just so we get this on the page, the digital page, so to speak.
Okay.
Just give us a thumbnail. We've got some time, so go
Excellent.
ahead.
I have a startup called Golden Thread Technology.
Okay.
And the name is because your DNA is a golden thread that connects your past and your future.
Okay.
Little metaphor there, right?
Yes.
And I started Golden Thread to focus on injury risk reduction and prevention for athletes, kids and adult athletes.
Okay.
Now, how I got into it, I think, is valuable for your audience because it helps give some clarity to the kind of approach I have in doing this.
Okay.
6 years ago, a bunch of my Johns Hopkins students came to me and said, Dr. Abramson, you have to see this paper out of Stanford. They gave 14 triathletes their genetic data and their injury rate went down 44%.
Hmm.
I said, home run. I mean, if if you can reduce your injury rate by knowing your genes, that's a whole
Now,
new
when
way of.
you say knowing your genes, they just gave them a presentation or a report to read or what?
They actually they did their genome using the same test that 23andMe uses or Ancestry, and they were able to identify from the science literature a huge number of genetic markers and variants associated with a higher average or lower risk of injury, like
Hmm.
ACL tear or concussion.
Okay. Wow.
But when I'm talking to my students, I said, it's great study because it means genes are valuable information, but there's a problem with the study. They said, what's the
Okay.
problem? I said, they're from Stanford. I said, if you're from MIT, Stanford, or Caltech, science is not a problem for you. You understand science, you understand technology. Everybody else has to reframe into a way that they can use it without becoming a scientist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And one of my students said, "Who's ever done that before?" I said, "Google Maps."
And now we're sponsored by Google Maps. No kidding.
Yeah, no, but I said that's the ultimate user-friendly tool because
Yeah.
Google doesn't care if you know how to read a map. It says, "Do you know what it means to turn left at the second light?"
Yes. Yes. Wow.
So that's my goal, is to build a platform that uses DNA as the core diagnostic element, but presents it in a way that's easy for you to use. Like given you have an 8-year-old daughter who's going to be playing soccer tonight. And with this model, it would say, well, in your case, because of her genes, she needs to do 3 minutes of stretching her legs
Mm.
to limber them up. But her brother has to do some home exercises to strengthen his ACL because his genetic makeup is different and his risk profile is different.
So somehow you all read the genetics and
Yes,
are able to get an output that says do this, do that.
right. And one of the examples that, since concussion is a big issue, there are 8 genetic markers already identified that increase the risk of concussion injury, and two more that reduce the risk.
So who's using your program? Is it NFL or who's using it?
Well, we're building the platform. We're too early for the NFL and the Division One and Division Two college teams. They've got trainers and doctors and so on. They know the human body. They don't need genetics.
Okay.
But
Well,
if you're the parent of a kid going out to play as a freshman, play high school soccer, you don't have a clue how the human
right,
body is structured. So what
right.
we're say is we're going to be able to give you insight into how, the equipment to wear, the training, warming up, how they play the game on the field. There are lots of things. I'm a
So
former
so so are you, I'm trying to get to the point where you can pitch this a little bit to the audience. So you have a product for
I'm building the
example is
product. It,
people,
it,
huh?
it hasn't been released yet. I'm still building it to be released.
Okay. Do you think it'll be in the form of a report or what?
Good question. In most of the world of genetics gives you a report, and people don't know what to do with it. It has no
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
what I will be doing is creating an application for your phone
Okay. Very nice.
that you'll
Got
be
it.
able to
Got it.
interact
Got it.
with. And
Okay.
another example of interaction on your phone that lets you do things and choose things
Right.
is called Amazon.
Oh boy, I spend more money. I know my friends are currently, but yeah, wow.
But the
So
idea,
when do
Mark,
you,
is
when do you think this puppy will come out? How can the public support you in getting it out the door? What do you think? How can we help?
that's a great question. I am working to raise some early money to hire some really good talent to design and back end
Okay.
data.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm talking to people who do that. I'm optimistic that by July we will have the first version out the door.
A, a beta perhaps
A
or
beta,
not?
exactly.
Pre-beta.
A beta version, exactly.
Okay, good.
And and then we'll begin collecting data from people because one of the things we want to do is we want to learn from the users. So, like, what are you eating? What is your kid eating? How much sleep are they getting?
Hmm.
What position on the field are they playing? Here's an easy genetic example for your viewers. Girls and women are 2 to 5 times more likely to tear their ACL, their knee, in a field sport
Hmm.
like soccer than boys and men,
Hmm.
because girls' bodies are shaped differently than boys' bodies.
Right, right. Yeah.
And so when a boy turns his upper body, his lower body goes with it. When a woman turns her upper body, the lower body stays where it is. and it messes up the knee.
Okay. Hmm.
Well, that means that the way that the woman plays, the equipment she wears, how she trains will be
Right.
different than for a man because she's already at a higher risk.
Is this information out there already with some professional coaches and athletes? And
In bits
it's
and
at the
pieces,
professional level, but it's not down to the high
yeah,
school level yet, or what?
no, it's not. At the professional level, those trainers and doctors, they know what's going on with that athlete's body down
Okay.
in such detail. It's astonishing.
Okay.
But
Okay. So
as
then,
you move down, the the parents and coaches, they have the best of intention. Nobody wants to have a kid get hurt. Duh.
no, right. Of
But
course.
but they're not trained and they don't understand the how the human body works. So our model is to provide this insight in a kind of coaching model using the application again like Google Maps.
So your potential audience might be high school athletes.
Interesting thing. I do a presentation I've shown to 1,500 people around the world, and what emerged are moms of kids in sports are the number one audience,
Okay.
followed by the adult weekend warrior. The people
Okay.
who go out on Saturday and they're going to go play pickleball or basketball or
Right.
whatever,
Right. Right.
and then dads. But in all three cases, it's over 80% of them say this is what they want to do. So we'll be focusing on the individual athletes and the parents of athletes around the world.
Okay. That's sounding. I think funding should be readily available for you, right, or not?
Well,
It
it's going
seems like
to,
a big winner. I mean, frankly.
it is, Mark. And interestingly enough, the biotech world is so focused on disease that they don't really view this as something worth doing because it's a B2C play, basically. And there's a lot of pushback about B2C in today's world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to interrupt because we're running out of time. I don't know when we can do another show. I've got another shoot at 9:30, which is about 34 minutes from now. Should you want to try to get a short thing in, or would you rather do
Well,
reschedule? We're gonna get on the schedule again pretty soon, right?
well, we could do it maybe even Monday. I mean, I've got some stuff
Okay.
this afternoon.
All right. Let's communicate with each other back and forth
Yeah.
because I want to try to begin to process this show that we're doing right now before I start shooting that other show, if I
Okay.
may. And I like all this stuff in the video.
Whatever works. You know your audience.
Yeah, and I'm trying to have like a little component in here where we sort of teach television because I used to teach television and it's really dear to my heart. So I
I
used to
do have a
teach.
quick I do have a quick television story and business.
Let's save it. If I beg your difference. Can you remember for next time?
Yeah, I'll give you a name of a person
Give us
to
a teaser. Yeah.
David Sarnoff,
Uh,
RCA Victor.
okay. All right.
That's the
So,
prompt.
folks, tune in next time when Mr. Dr. Abramson tells us about that fun story. And we love you guys dearly. We're here to help. Thanks for watching. You
And
guys
thank
know
you.
I always turn my head to sign off. So
Okay.
see you soon. Thank you, Doctor. And I didn't know
Frederick.
all this time I should be addressing you as Dr. Abramson.
No, no.
I
You know what?
apologize.
No, Mark. I tell people doctor's good for hotels, airlines, and restaurants. After after that, I'm just Frederick. Okay.
Okay. All right, sir. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Have a great morning.
Take care. Yes, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.